We seem to be talking about an awful lot of these lately, and there's a good reason why. This is, as we've said before, one of, if not, the best all-round example of a perfect Range Rover, not just in terms of colour choice or interior, of course there's always personal preference there, but in terms of the engine, the generation, and certainly the value, with this kind of mileage and history behind it as well. It's a 2015, so of course facelift generation Range Rover Autobiography, no less, so anyone who knows their Range Rovers knows exactly the trim you would want to get all of the extra goodies, and this one really does go above and beyond when it comes to that. It's also a 4.4 litre SDV8, which as we've said before is an incredible all-round bit of kit in terms of combining the performance, certainly the pulling power that you would want from a luxury Range Rover, but also with shockingly good fuel economy, it has to be said, for a vehicle of its size, and of course being a facelift car, it's also remarkably good for road tax, especially these days when so many 4x4s are far too high compared to what they realistically should be. Now in terms of value for money, this was quite literally over a £100,000 vehicle when new in 2015, and the value now is stunning, under £23,000, still of course having the option of low deposit financing, and that's for an Autobiography which has only just kissed 84,000 miles, which for reference is still 2,500 less than the average for one of these. Now one of our favourite things about this car is the colour combination, and from the outside it initially looks black, but it almost has an iridescent or pearlescent tone to it, being finished in Mariana black. Those blue undertones, especially when the sun basks over the car, looks absolutely incredible. In fact, we were only recently discussing about this exact car that it looks like the perfect colour for something like a Bentley. Those would look incredible in this sort of colour shift. Its interior trim matches that beautifully with a combination of ebony and cirrus with piano black veneers, and of course, as you can see from those rear seats, well, that is one of its particularly lovely goodies. It's not uncommon to see a Range Rover, certainly an Autobiography, with a rear entertainment package. This one goes above and beyond because those screens are separate from the seats, as you can see, winged headrests on the front, but larger screens, so an even better cinematic experience in the rear. Speaking of cinematic, it has a 17-speaker Meridian sound system, so the definition of surround sound. But before we dive further into those goodies, we do need to go back for a second to its history, because to go along with that fantastic mileage, it has a full main agent service history to its name, as well as just being serviced by ourselves in February. But to go back to that interior spec in particular, and also beyond, it has heated, cooling, and massage seats. As we mentioned, that rear entertainment pack, a center-mounted cool box, 22-inch factory wheels, power-deploying side steps, a full-size spare wheel, which is something of a rarity these days, even on a larger vehicle, privacy glass with a sliding panoramic roof, dual-view touchscreen displays with 12-volt power supplies, auxiliary and Bluetooth inputs. Of course, it is electronic tow-prepped as well. It comes with premium voice control navigation, in-control Wi-Fi. It has USB interfaces as well to go back to that sound system, adaptive cruise control, a 5-camera surround assist system with front and rear parking sensors as well. Of course, as you would expect from a Range Rover, that trademark split opening tailgate, both the top and the bottom being powered for opening and closing, xenon headlights with day-running LEDs, 4-zone climate control, adaptive dynamics, along with that variable ride height, electronic air suspension, ISOFIX anchor points for child seats as well. And to return to that monstrous 4.4 litre engine, on the one hand it's a 330 horsepower V8 with 740 newtons of torque, but on the other hand, even with all of the goodies, all of the size, all of the acres of space, as we often like to say, which this car offers, you can still average over 30 miles per gallon and not far off 40 on the motorway, as high as 37 in fact. And as we said earlier on, even its road tax somehow is literally hundreds of pounds a year cheaper than it realistically should be at £430 a year. If then this particular Autobiography Range Rover catches your eye and you would like to reach out regarding it, of course you could send us an email to the address shown right here on screen, or give us a call on 01749 871 155 or via our mobile number of 07482 267 439.